Hello, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. Welcome, Blue Jackets fans and hockey fans alike. I am your captain speaking. Welcome to the podcast, and let's dive into some hockey content. Hey everybody, it's your captain here speaking. I just wanted to let you know, yes, this is the correct day that I'm releasing videos. From here on out, we're not going to be doing a 1 video a week type deal. We're going to be doing a 3 video a week type deal. It will now be Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and they're going to be shorter, so that way you'll have more videos during the week. I'll be able to put out more videos, and I think it'll just be better for everybody. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about the Dallas Stars today. The Dallas Stars have been devastated again with injuries. The team announced that Tyler Seguin and Ben Bishop will at least be out for 5 months. Ben Bishop underwent right knee surgery for a torn meniscus and will be out at least 5 months. When I tore my meniscus, the doctors told me that you weren't able to have surgery, so I guess that apparently you're actually able to. I had to wrestle through it, and the doctor said that you just had to tough it out. So I guess I'm just kind of shocked because I was misinformed by doctors. I don't know. Maybe it's a rich person thing. Who knows? I just want to say, if you're a high school athlete and your coach asks you to play through a serious injury, don't do it. Within a few years, people will probably forget about you. I mean, not like completely, but they're just going to be focused on the new athletes involved. So if a coach says, especially in anything below college, play through this injury, don't, because you're going to have to deal with a serious injury, and don't do it. I'm 20 years old. I'd like to think that I'm relatively in good shape, but my knee is pretty banged up, and it hurts a lot. It's not worth the risk. So if your coach says it, tell them to mind their own business. And look at it this way. Take note from me. My knee will never be the same again for the rest of my life. I'm not walking with a limp or anything, but especially when it gets cold, that hurts a lot and it swells up. Either way, I look at this Ben Bishop injury and think it's never good for a goalie to deal with an injury like this. If a goalie has a knee injury, that is very concerning, and you probably should be worried about it. I think it is something that is a little bit more concerning because Ben Bishop is 33. I think from this point on, the injury bug is going to start happening a lot more often. Sorry, I had to put my phone on airplane mode because for some reason it wasn't. Anyway, Tyler Seguin underwent a right hip arthroscopy. I swore. I want you all to know I thought I was going to get it right, but I did get it was arthroscopy. I got it wrong again. Never mind. And labral repair. And if you remember this was what happened with David Pastrnak, and it's the same exact injury. I don't know if it's on the same side, but he'll be out for 5 months, and I'm not really too worried about Tyler Seguin. He's 28. I think he'll bounce back better than Ben Bishop will, just because Ben Bishop's a goalie that's 33 dealing with a knee injury. Does that sound promising to you? No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound promising to me. So, I think Tyler Seguin, since he's 28, younger, and plays a different position, he'll be a little bit more likely, I think, to come back and be fine. So, what will the Stars be losing and having to deal with the injuries of Bishop and Seguin? Well, for starters, they could get the season pushed back and it'd be no big deal. But we're not going to talk about that scenario because it's not that fun. Let's talk about the season starting in January. Never that an injury is fun. I don't want to imply that I'm glad that these two players are dealing with an injury. I'm not. Ben Bishop is obviously a very good goalie, and with him being out, that puts even more pressure on Anton Khudobin. There's a problem though. Khudobin is old, and he was just running the ground on the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Rick Bowness used him like a dog. Nothing wrong with that because they made a deep run. But is Rick going to keep doing so? Probably. I don't think it's a good idea, but if it keeps him afloat once Bishop gets back, if he gets back on time, then maybe that's the right idea. I'm not sure, but I will say this. Let's say that Bishop has to miss more time with this injury. If you run Khudobin into the ground early in the season, that could backfire big time. So who knows what they'll do. That's going to be an issue. But with Tyler Seguin down, that's a pretty big issue as well. He's typically a 30-goal scorer per season, and I know he had a down year this year, but when he's gone in the lineup, you'll be able to feel it. I think that for the past few years, the team has struggled to score goals. I wouldn't be expecting much offense from this team. Last year, I'm pretty sure they ranked 29th in the league in goals for. so goals scored, and then I'm pretty sure they ranked 28th in the league for goals for 2 years ago. So I think that in the future this could be an issue if the season's not pushed back. Here's some guys I expect results out of. Jamie Benn. He's a little bit older, but he's the leader of the team, and I think anything less than 25 goals out of him would be negative for the team. He's a leader. He's got to produce results. He had stretches in the playoffs where he was red hot. Then he had stretches in the playoffs where he was ice cold is not even the right term. But I think that Jamie Benn being a leader, they're going to have to be able, or he's going to have to be able to provide some offense for this team. Otherwise, it could be in dire straits from the get-go. Miro Heiskanen. He may not light the lamp all the time, but in the playoffs, he showed us what he's capable of. The Stars really need to see more out of Heiskanen if they're going to be able to contend. If they really want to contend, Heiskanen is going to have to provide a lot of that offense off the blue line. And I love what I saw from Heiskanen. Heiskanen's a very good defenseman. I'm not going to say shutdown defenseman, but I do think that when the game is going against Dallas's favor, when he's on the ice, it seems to level it out. When they played Vegas, I felt like a lot of times when Vegas was getting away with it, Rick Bowness would throw Heiskanen out on the ice, and they were able to at least make it even. So I think Heiskanen is a massive part of this team. That should be no surprise to really anybody, especially Stars fans. Denis Gurianov. The Stars signed him to a 2-year deal, and they're expecting results. I think 25 goals for Gurianov is what I would strive for. I think that's reasonable. He had 20 goals in 64 games played last year. That's got to be achievable, and I think that anything less is a down year for him as well. But Gurianov is younger, but I'm expecting more results. He had 20 goals in 64 games played. I think they view him as a 25, 30 goal scorer per year. I think that the contract they gave him is a prove-it deal, but also I think that we believe in you deal. So I think he will deliver. I think 25 goals. The next person I want to talk about, number 4, Roope Hintz. I'm excited to watch Hintz this year. I think he'll grow even more. I think that his passing hopefully will get a little bit better too, a little bit more crisp. I think that 25 goals out of him and 30 assists would be a good season for him, or 25 assists. If you could get a 50-point season out of Roope Hintz, that'd be great. I know he's injured and currently still in RFA, but I think he's supposed to be able to come back at the start of next season, or this upcoming season, excuse me. But what I've seen from Hintz, I'm not going to say that I'm a Hintz expert by any means. I don't watch a ton of Stars games, but during their playoff run, I did watch him, and I thought there was some potential, especially to be a 50-point scorer per year. I think that definitely is there, and I think he'll be a perennial 20-goal scorer during his prime. And then number 5, we have Alexander Radulov. He's getting paid a nice chunk of change, and I know he's getting a little bit older, but I think anything less than 20 goals this year for him would be a major letdown. I'm not saying, he had like 2 26-goal seasons in the past 2 years, maybe 2 out of 3. Regardless, he is a perennial 20-goal scorer. I think that Radulov will be able to provide at least 20 goals. The problem is that you could say, some of these guys are getting older, expect a decline. Well, if they really want to contend, there is no option for them to decline. These guys are going to have to be able to provide what is pretty much a norm for them every year. I especially don't think for Radulov it'd be hard to hit 20 goals. I think on pace he usually is around 25 every year, so Radulov getting 20 shouldn't be an issue. One thing I did want to talk about are 2 potential helpers that could be guys that might be a little bit underrated that could help out. And obviously we have Joel Kiviranta, Mr. Game 7 himself. I'm not saying I expect a hat trick every night, but I think that if he would chip in 10 to 15 goals on the year, that would be terrific for the Stars. They would gladly take that. Obviously this could be a one-time thing with that hat trick, but we saw that there was some potential to score. I didn't know much about Kiviranta before that, but I think 10 to 15 goals would be great for him, and that would be great for the Stars to have more scoring depth. I think he's, according to dailyfaceoff.com, on the 4th line currently. And then the second helper that I wanted to talk about was Jason Robertson. He was drafted in the 2nd round by the Stars in the 2017 draft. I'd like to see some results out of him. Currently on Daily Faceoff, he is on the 2nd line, so we'll see. But I do think, again, 10 to 15 goals for him, maybe 20 would be great for him and the Stars. I don't know if he'll get put on the 2nd line. Stars fans, if you would like to send me your projected lines, do so. I'm not a Stars expert by any means necessary. I guess it's one of those things that it's different. It's hard to say. I mean, it could change from game to game. Rick or John, what in the world? Coach Tortorella, having a weird day. I've had a bad hair day. Everything is going downhill. But, Coach Tortorella, Torts as we like to call him, he will switch up lines in the middle of a game. So just send me what you think will be the lineup. And obviously I do expect Kiviranta probably on the fourth line. I don't know if Robertson will get a chance on the second line, maybe. So let me know what you think. Really, Dallas just needs to hold down the fort until Ben Bishop and Tyler Seguin can come back. And they're not only reinforcements, I would say, for the team, but they're pillars of the Dallas franchise. What worries me, though, is you have Colorado, Winnipeg, even St. Louis still. These are going to be teams that aren't going to be doing them favors the rest of the way. And this is a tough division. You obviously have Minnesota and Nashville that are not Dallas. Chicago is not a bad team by any means in the Central. I don't think they'll be great, but I don't think they'll be a bottom feeder. I don't think they'll be like a 50-point type team. They'll be bad, but I don't think you should overlook the Hawks as being a problem for the Stars. I just think that if they aren't able to hold their heads up above the water, they could be out of the top 3 of the division by the time Seguin and Bishop get back. But regardless, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer for Stars fans, but me personally, I don't see the Stars as a contender. I don't see them being a team that's going to be perennially in the Western Conference Finals, Stanley Cup Finals year in, year out for the next 5 years. But I do commend them for trying to, try to keep this team together and try to contend. In my honest opinion, the Stars are probably going to be a team that could use the season to start a little bit later than what they say it would. And I think they're probably the team in the entire league that could use it the most, especially with Bishop and Seguin dealing with injuries. And I think they're going to have to hopefully get the season pushed back for them. But the closer we get, I think the more likely it is for us to have the season pushed back to February. So Stars fans, you might not even have to worry about this much. But anyway, here's my one video. This is Sunday. Happy Sunday. And let's worry about Monday then. But you have a video Tuesday. So when you're on Monday, just remember you get a video from me Tuesday. Everybody stay safe from COVID and have a great Sunday. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes, and hockey fans in general. This is your captain signing off. Have a great week.